Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I haven't had a therapy session in a very long time. I've been enjoying my Laker chats and all of that. I've been enjoying staying away from my real problems as it pertains to talking about them and all that. I haven't had the vibes that normally come with the struggles. I've been doing a lot of praying, and to be honest with you, I just kind of let some of them struggles go, made some acceptances about what it is that I am and am not about, and continue to do what it is that I've been doing, continue to pray, and just felt like I got some confirmations that I'm still to this very second on the right path as it pertains to my spirit and what the Lord wants me doing with my time at this time. Even as things look as they are, it's just, it all came back around to me understanding that I've made some serious breakthroughs in this era of my life, in my mental health and self-awareness of what it is that's wrong, what it is that's not right, how I've gone about it, and what I need to do to embrace loving myself a bit better, how it took so much for myself to find the motivation to establish certain positive habits and stuff like that. And now that I've gone through certain stresses and tests that would otherwise shake me loose of those good habits, having things break around the house, stuff like that, has forced me to kind of just deal with stress in a different way, adjust to stress in a different way on top of everything I got going on in my mind. It was just like, normally when I have that happen, I'd break down as it pertains to my habits. Whatever good I've been doing would just turn into nothingness. And that's just not how it's going. I've kept up with my workouts despite not having my fridge. I've kept up with everything that I needed to do in regards to adjusting to my diet. Figured out something that works for me, and I think I'm eating even better. So it's a lot of good stuff that has kind of panned out as it pertains to my mindset, and so I'm just very happy about that in general. And also, you start to gain confidence. You start to gain confidence when you start seeing certain things happen as it pertains to what it is I've been doing. This AMC ape crap, and I call it crap. This is not crap. It's just very frustrating having it not pay out the way that it has. But that doesn't mean that we haven't been seeing what I've been telling y'all about. And so that's what I'm really excited about in the midst of all of these different struggles with my head and the finances and all of that. There's a thing happening right now, a very big thing happening. And I told y'all it was going to happen, and it's regarding those banks. I told y'all that it was going to start becoming a whack-a-mole-like situation where the Fed was going to have to bail out a bunch of banks because they're all over-leveraged. And you're going to find out that not only are the banks over-leveraged, but the damn Federal Reserve is over-leveraged. The whole economy and surrounding social, financial economies, all of us, everybody out west, basically, I believe, is over leveraged and screwed. The whole damn world. Half of the money we're using is synthetic. Half of the stuff that we're spending isn't real. Half of the money that we're working for doesn't exist. And that is what everybody is finding out in real time. As each and every bank you going belly up left and right, just like I told you they would. I have counted 5 banks. 5. And like I told you guys, they ain't going to tell us about every bank that goes up because it doesn't make sense to do so. It don't make sense to do so. You'll have a worldwide panic if all the banks that are actually in trouble are publicized as in trouble. It just ain't going to work. You got to hide some of that, and I think that's what they're doing. But some of these names, man, some of these banks that we've been looking at for like 3 years, the ones that have been taunting them apes, some of them are facing karma, y'all. Some of them are really facing karma. Some of the guys that have paid for all of the shill, FUD stuff that we've been reading and trying to have us shake off of our shares, trying to have us doubt ourselves, they're failing, man. They're failing right now. And so while I've been dealing with my own personal stuff and trying to figure out if I made the right decision with what I'm doing, and people trying to, come collect for money and stuff at a certain time, and things are breaking, stuff is all this is happening, and I look at the bigger thing that I'm doing, the main thing in life that I'm doing, and I'm realizing we're starting to see signs of the apocalypse, so to speak, as it pertains to that thing. All the folklore stuff that we used to talk about when we first got started in regards to apes. When we first saw them take the buy button and people were starting to talk about, hey, this is what's going to happen when things go down. This is what it's going to look like when the environment starts to deteriorate. This is what is going to start happening. This is what we're seeing. This is exactly what we're seeing. And so that's why it's like, for me, I've kind of calmed down in my own personal world as it pertains to what I'm doing, because I'm seeing things happening that's making it real, that I didn't see happening at any given time while I was going through the process of trying to hold these shares. Yeah, I'm at the end where it looks like I'm gonna have to give up and all of that, but the bigger picture is, yeah, stuff is happening for real. You know, and what prompted me to turn on the camera was First Republic Bank. I know a First Republic Bank because there was a First Republic Bank, if I'm not mistaken, on Wilshire Boulevard. I used to ride past it on the bus every day. They're down 90% since March 8th. 90%. They were at $117 a share on that day. They're $12 today. Guacamole. So I try to tell people I've been doing this, and I've been struggling with my confidence. I've been struggling with my life, struggling with myself, and developing as a grown man from the age of 33 all the way up until this point, because of the different stuff that I've sacrificed and not experienced just to hold on to these shares. Why? Because I've been waiting for First Republic Bank, Credit Suisse, and all these other little banks to do what it's doing right now. That's why. That's exactly why. I've been sitting here doing Laker videos, going crazy, wigging out, misspeaking, smoking weed, staying out of the sunlight, all the different things that you need to do to take care of yourself, because I've been trying to hold on to them damn shares, y'all. That's all it's been about. That's all it's ever was about. And I got lost in that a couple of times. Like I said, I've lost my mind twice in this house since then. I've had so many different things go left. I let my car go. As you guys know, anybody that's watched my therapy sessions know all of the journey. But it was all about watching what is happening take place. That's why I did it. I did it so that all of this can get exposed, so that you guys can know that this was happening the whole time, and that we can do something about it together. That's why I've been telling everybody about AMC and GME, not because of MOAS. MOAS is what happens when you do the right thing. It's the result of doing the right thing. It's the payoff for sacrifice, but it ain't what we're doing here. What we're doing here is saving the world from those guys who want to take money that doesn't exist, pay each other in IOUs, and continue to pretend like they are clear, like they all square. That's what's happening here. They're acting like they're all square by saying, here's $10, I give you an IOU, and then switching it back and forth, that kind of thing. It's not okay, man. It's not okay. And then what they end up doing is running people into poverty, running people into circumstances where they have to work to no avail, and all the different other things that trickle down to convincing you to keep on doing it while this is happening. And then they do rate hikes, all this, that, and it's all kinds of confusion. But at the end of the day, no matter how smart the whole situation is, it just comes down to somebody being a little too greedy, other people agreeing with those people, and them all getting over leveraged together. That's what it really comes down to. I don't care how smart it is. I don't care how complicated it comes down to. At the end of the day, folks just got a little too greedy during the pandemic, man, and they would have got away with it. But somehow people got away with what they were doing. I'm gonna tell you the truth, and this is what I've come to understand, and I've said this more than once. I'm not lost upon this at all. There is a clean functionality to shorting companies that do not serve any purpose in the market. That's the part that everybody needs to understand, that the apes understand. Even I understand this. If a company's trash and Citadel decides to attack it, it's supposed to be able to do that to clean up the market. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do. It's when you attack companies that are not done, that are not really in a dumps, when you identify that a company ain't coming back because of the pandemic, and you start attacking it like it needs to be destroyed when it ain't done. That's what they did. They took their vacuum and they cleaned over something that didn't need to be cleaned over. That was glitter that was purposely on the floor for decorations. And nobody wanted you to clean that up. You see what I'm saying? You're supposed to clean over there. That's what they did. They used their eraser tool and erased too much. They took their demolition equipment and they tore down the wrong building. You know what I'm saying? And the public got a whiff of it. And they started realizing that they were doing it on purpose, and they were doing it to everybody. They were doing it to mom and pop companies. They were doing it to successful companies. They were doing it to everybody in the pandemic because they didn't think anybody was coming back. They thought all the businesses that went down in the pandemic, that were struggling when they didn't have no choice because everybody was forced in the house by way of this very, very messed up virus. They thought mom and pop companies, they thought you were never going to be able to come back outside. They thought everything was going to be remote. They thought the whole world was going to be Amazon overnight. They thought the whole world was, you know what I'm saying? They really thought the world was going to change, and they thought that they had the right to just say, okay, let's just erase everything and let's profit from it because nobody's coming back outside. So your AMCs, your GameStops, Toys R Us's, all these companies that they didn't think was coming back, they over-leveraged the hell out of them with the intention of erasing them because they figured, hey, nobody's going to work them anyway. How, what the heck is a movie theater company in a pandemic if nobody's ever going to come back outside? So let's just put an eraser to that, run it down to zero. We take the profits from that. If we run it to zero, we don't have to pay any taxes on that. And that is the motivating factor for destroying stuff that they ain't got no business destroying. If they run it to zero, they ain't got to pay no taxes on it. Now, if they run it to 20%, still got to pay taxes on it. Run it down to 10%, still got to pay taxes on it. But if you obliterate that company, cha freaking ching, baby. Not only did you obliterate the company and get paid, but you ain't got to pay no taxes on it. And that's why they're running around with their heads cut off, trying to attack stuff they ain't got no business attacking with people's money in it. With people's money in it. That's what they're doing. And like I said, because it was the pandemic, they automatically assumed just about every company that existed in America was going to hell. Just about all of them. That's what they thought. And so when you consider that's what they thought, and then you consider there's a bunch of people like myself who realized they were doing that and attached themselves to one of them companies and refused to sell the shares. Now, what happens when you refuse to sell the shares and they're pressing up against it, trying to run it down to zero so they don't have to pay the taxes on it? And you're holding the shares, not allowing them to short it properly because the base that's supposed to be coming out is you holding it up. Even when you run it down to $3, $2, $1, you still got the requisite shares. They can't pay themselves the fake money because you got real money wrapped up in it. So what do? Short other stuff to try to make up for that. Stuff they didn't even have intention to destroy. They got to destroy that to make up for what it is you've done, ape. So let's over-leverage this. Let's over-leverage that. Let's start a couple wars. Let's do anything we can to raise some money to make up for the leverage that you got to destroy because you're not allowing us to destroy this company. So now we got to pay taxes on it. We're not able to bring it down. So all the loans that we put on it have to now be paid back. How are we going to pay that back? We can't pay that back. We were trying to obliterate a company that you guys are holding up to no end. And how do you obliterate something? Shorting it, synthetic shares, overpiling nothing on top of something and then taking the little something that's under it as you pile the nothing on top of it. But if somebody's standing underneath there, so to speak, holding it up to no end, putting a rock right there in between your little machine as you continue in the pile, then eventually the machine breaks. That those people are immovable. No matter what it is you're doing on your side, they have to choose to walk away. And if they don't, all the little psychological games that have to represent the price going down so that they will pay, take back the little money that you allow them to have in the situation, and then from there get your little 0%, whatever it is. In order to get them to leave, you got to have those psychological things that just are automatically factual in the market. Like if it goes red, you probably should get out of there. If it goes down 20%, you should probably get out of there. All those different things, they didn't register with the apes. Why? Because if you're giving us something, the psychological aspect, and they didn't understand this with desperation as it pertains to human beings. When you tell somebody that the proposition of what it is that they've purchased is going to bounce in ways that are astronomical, it doesn't matter how far you draw it down to. All that's going to give them is more affordable opportunities at these lottery tickets. So that's what it ends up becoming. So they never psychologically actually be able to cover that, because people who own these shares know that no matter how many they have, each of them can go pop to the end. Each of them will pop to the end. So what I'm telling you is, What they're trying to do is run the price down to zero for all the reasons we've talked about, and so that psychologically we'll see that our money is gone. You look at something that you paid $1,000 for, you see it's worth $50. Of course, you're gonna walk away and go home. But I'm telling you that all people are really doing is throwing their whole check on top of that $50. Why? Because they know that these are more chances. This is a better opportunity than it was at $50. So I'm not seeing it as the pot that I'm holding being lesser. I'm looking at my share count and thinking I can get twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7 times what it is that I'm able to get now than I was back then when it was at $50. It's a discount at more lottery tickets. So the psychology is opposite in regards to what they think the apes are supposed to do. People are looking at this saying, yo, not only am I not selling, these things are on sale, bro. They on sale. They was $5 last week. Great. Now they $3 now. Even more. Let's pour more money into it, just like they were trying to short it. The apes are pouring in, trying to get them lottery tickets. And the goodness in their heart as it pertains to them beating the bad guys, so to speak, keep them doubling down on it virtuously, religiously, beyond even money. Like the greed of man, for those of us who just have to have money, there's certain people in the ape community that don't give a damn about money. You see what I'm saying? So it's like even that works against those who are trying to get out from under this over leveraging. There's nothing in the psychology that allows us to walk away. People will die holding these things because they think they can give them to their kids. You see what I'm saying? And it's the right thing to do. So for those of us those who are telling people that MOAS is a possibility or that this stuff could not happen, they're covering their backside. But what I'm telling you is, this is an act of God. This ain't got nothing to do with anybody's desire to get rich or anybody else's desire to change the world. This is bigger than that. This is bigger than that. The psychology of this entire situation makes it inevitable. Absolutely inevitable. And I've understood that the whole time. That's why, like, for me, it was like, oh, this was an easy decision. Doing what I did was an easy decision based on my own psychology and how I handle things just in general. I messed up. I shouldn't have jumped into something like this without having help, as I've told you guys a million times. But my calculations, what I was looking at, what this is about to do for myself and my family and all the people, yeah, this is really gonna happen, man. This is not negotiable. Now, whether or not it's gonna pay out the way that we want it to, based on what it is they'll be able to make happen in regards to the computers, whether or not they're gonna show it's just worth what it's worth, I don't know how they're gonna be able to get money to people. I don't know how that works out. We gotta wait on God to do that. But as far as what we're doing in regards to the damage that we're causing to these guys that want to erase everything for no reason, yeah, we're killing them. Financially, we're obliterating them. Well, they're obliterating themselves, really, to be honest. But there's no way out for them. There's no way out for them. Now, listen to people like Sharon Stone. She's crying, saying she lost half her money in PNC. I'm like, she ain't the only one. It's about to be more. Y'all gotta get your money out of there, man. And I don't know where you put it. It's not financially smart for me to tell you where to put your money, but I can tell you where you don't want it. It ain't them damn banks. I can tell you that right now. Any of them damn banks. All of them are messed up. And like I said, yes, you're going to see the government bail out the banks. But the guacamole analogy is still in play. Yes, I might have $8 billion for PNC. I might have $12 billion for First Republic. I might have $30 billion for Credit Suisse. I'm whacking them as they come up. There goes 30 billion, 8 billion, 4 billion, 7 billion, 8 billion, 4 billion, 7 billion, 8 billion, 4 billion. That's what's going to happen to the Fed. Now they're going to start seeing this. This is going to be this. That's what the guacamole is all about. And that's what you're seeing. That's 5 in a week. 5 in a week. Exactly what I predicted. There will be more. A lot more, a lot faster, a lot more frequent. This is what you're about to see. Banks, bow, 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 bow. Banks. Bigger ones too. The ones you like. That one too. Bow, 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 bow. That one too. That bank, yeah, that one too. FDIC? Ain't no FDIC. They're over leveraged. They can't pay for that. FDIC appears to be over leveraged. The whole thing. I ain't trying to scare you. Because it ain't about fear. We're already there. You know what I'm saying? This is not me pushing no fear. This is me looking over there and telling you, yep, I see that. What I told you, what I thought I was going to see, it's happening now. That's what's happening. We're past the fear. We're already past that, yo. It was scary 2 years ago when they removed the buy button. That's when I saw all of this. I was like, oh, okay. So they think they can get away with this? No. No. No, that's not how this works. And they call Roaring Kitty a fraud. I don't know what the financials on his situation. They ran him out of town like his thesis was false. It wasn't false. I don't know what his intentions were with GME. I don't know what he ended up getting involved in. I don't know if he ended up going corrupt after a while. I don't know what happened. But I know that what he initially told us is exactly what it was. And now that we've done homework, it was a lot worse than that. And he was right about how we needed to go about it. And now that we're going about it that way, we're seeing what it is that he told us we would see. So while he's somewhere disgraced, you just understand that he told us the formula for what it is that we're supposed to be doing here. And it's working. So chances are, this is just chances, whatever smut is on his name, it's probably false. Probably. Just in the nature of all that's going on here, either it's false or they dug it up. They dug it up with the intention of discrediting this dude. But it didn't matter if you discredit him or not. It doesn't matter if the messenger was corrupt or not. All we needed was that the message was accurate. That was it. Roaring Kitty was accurate. Those people were way over leveraged, stealing from the world's economy, doing so, and needed to be stopped. And this is how we're going to do it. So that's what I want to say to everybody else. I ain't forgotten Roaring Kitty's initial statement. I was one of the ones who was paying attention to him about 6 months into his whole thing. I remember him before all the YouTubers that had come around, made a name for themselves, disappeared. I don't know where any of those people are, and I do not care. You understand what I'm saying? All your favorite YouTubers that stopped talking about EMC, I don't care about that. They could come and go. It doesn't matter because the thesis is the same. These banks are still going down. That's it. Don't matter. All of the stuff that was going on, all of the, we were talking about different conversations leading up to this 2 years. People were telling us this, telling us that, machines over leveraging that, did all the different stuff that they try to get us with the votes, vote for AMC, this, split stock, split GME, all these different things that are supposed to basically shake us off, psychologically send us to a space where we're just like, I can't do this anymore. But that's not the psychology of the reality of the circumstance. Those are lottery tickets getting cheaper. Doesn't matter. You can turn Adam Aaron to the greatest guy or expose him to be the worst guy. Doesn't matter. I could be the CEO. You could be the CEO. Doesn't matter. It's had nothing to do with the company or how it operates. How profitable it's about to be or how much debt it's in. Irrelevant. The only relevance them being in debt has to the situation was that is what put them in a position to be targeted by those over leveragers. That's it. That's the only thing that it holds relevance to. And the fact that they were in debt was basically because it was a damn pandemic, as we've already said. It's a damn movie theater. It wasn't going to work. Except for the fact that it did because we weren't going to let it go down. So there you have it. And it wasn't about AMC. It was about them doing this to us in the stock market, wherever our money may be at. Wherever we were going, wherever retail was at, they took their little eraser and they tried to deal with the company that we happen to find ourselves in. That's what they were doing also. They were searching out where everybody was putting their money and shorting that. Is that where retail is? Cool. Short it. Were they excited about that? Short it. That's what they did to us after GME. I guess that was their response to like our daring them or whatever, dare us try to stop them from, you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. So it's like, okay, attack the people. Since they attack us, that's what they did. So now anytime you put your money over there, now they're shorting that. You put your money in crypto, now they're shorting that. You know what I'm saying? It was a response factor taking place in regards to this. They were at war with the people for a long time. They're hiring psychologists to try to figure out how they can get in our heads and make us see these lottery tickets as something we need to be giving away as they get cheaper. That psychology was never going to work. You couldn't hire anybody that can make that make sense to the poor. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. We think discount. We think sales. We clip coupons. If you're going to make something cheaper, you're making it more worth it for us. If you're telling us we don't have a lot of money, we don't have it anyway. That's why we're here. We can get more of it. Psychology is never going to work for you. So that's what it is, man. These type of things are in my head immediately, and it was just like, yo, prayed about it, thought about it, gave it to God, gave myself to it. And it took me on a journey that drove me absolutely crazy and into a space where I've built an entire platform. A platform, probably two of them on one channel type thing. When you consider the therapy session and the Laker videos, you know what I mean? And all the different stuff that I've been able to accomplish in this house, that should be able to put me in a position to be okay, even if my ass doesn't happen, based on just skills now. Developing real skills here. Broadcasting skills, art skills, musical blending skills, and things of that nature. So it's like, while I was supposed to be deteriorating mentally and stressing into nothingness and ultimately just going broke and giving up on my shares, what I was really doing is establishing a closer relationship with God, inner peace and love for myself, better workout habits, and ultimately all these other things that I was able to do. So now that these banks are starting to go to hell, what I see is me reserving 2 years of my time to develop all of that. That's what I saw. And all I need is the Lord to do what it is He's going to do financially, to kick me some cash so I can seal off the deal. Then I don't have to look at myself as a person who made bad life choices, or look at myself as somebody who's a deterioration of the mind or something. None of that stuff is real. What was real is, this is what I needed to do for me alone to handle holding these shares this long. This is how I did it by myself. I'm not a lesser man. I know how to pay my freaking bills. You know what I mean? I'm a good leader, so to speak. All of those different things that I was wrestling with these last 2 years have come full circle. I ain't lost no confidence as it pertains to who I am and what I'm capable of doing. I made a very, very hard decision by myself, and I stuck to it. That's what I did. I put God first every day. Prayed about it every day. Prayed about others every day in this process. Prayed about my enemies, prayed about my friends, prayed about family, prayed about strangers. I gave my spirit to God in this process. So whatever problems that I've found myself dealing with in regards to this process aren't really problems at all. It was me being obedient to God, and ultimately me being patient as the inevitable was to take place. So now that we're getting to the place where it's the inevitable, where real stuff is happening, and now I'm starting to look like I knew what I was talking about a little bit. Now it's just about watching God do whatever He's going to do next, because situations still look bad in my own personal life, but when you look at the bigger picture, it just comes back to the same metaphor I told y'all about in regards to what happened when I prayed about this. And the Lord was like, look, yes, you need to pay people. You, Brandon, BDF 44, need to pay people, but those people you need to pay need God. They need me, is what the Lord said to me. And so, while you're worried about paying them, what you need to be worried about is paying me attention, because I'm trying to change your life, and I'm trying to make it so that you'll be ready for what it is that I put in your hands when it's time for you to have it. If for some reason you don't do everything you need to do between now and then, you ain't gonna be ready for what's coming. And that is what I've learned. I am a much better human being to inherit what it is that could be coming my way than I was when this first started. If Moass would have happened when I wanted it to happen, it would not have been me being a better person for having it. Now, if I inherit that type of stuff, I'm a better person. Better human being. I'm not looking to do any of the things with that money that I probably would have intended to do with the bullcrap culture that I had in my mind when this first started. Conversations on this channel, different things that I've had to, consider. The struggles in this household have made me a much more humble person. Having to sacrifice the way that I did in these last 2 years, hardly buying myself anything, living off of basically $7,000 all year long, I can handle more than I was ever able to before this started. The skin issues and all that. When I first committed to AMC, I didn't have no skin allergies, no stomach allergies, none of this stuff. All of it has forced me into a space of humility that I never would have gotten if I wouldn't have taken this path. Made me look at my own mental health, maybe look at my heart, and as it pertains to how I was looking at certain things, maybe look at the man that I wanted to be, how different traits that I've had to deal with within myself that were as a result of me not handling, addressing different pains and addressing different moments in life that may have left me in a bad spot. Some of those things within these 2 years, I've had a chance to heal from, address, focus on, pray about, let go of things. Really important stuff. Really, really important stuff. Things that you must take care of on your own. Some of those things I was able to address, and probably wouldn't have if I wouldn't have found myself in this situation. So, hey, if this is what it is, you know what I mean? If I'm gonna not only be able to receive the inner peace stuff and the better human stuff, but also take care of my finances in the process of this, then That's what the dream was really about, man. That's what it was really about. But I never dreamed that I would become a better person in this process. Certainly not in these ways. Absolutely not. So that's what I'm here to tell you guys, man. It's easier than it's ever been to turn on this camera and be honest with you guys. It's easier than it's ever been to turn on this camera and talk about that team. It's easier than it's ever been to tell myself I love myself and that I'm going to do okay, or to encourage myself to get up and do some workouts and all these different things. I would not give back the strength that I've gained in my head over these last 2 years for Moass itself. It ain't worth whatever that amount is going to be. It ain't. Not the responsibility, the self-worth, the self-respect, the love for others, the prayer list, all of those different things. Moass ain't worth as much to me as those things are to my spirit. Not at all. That's true wealth. I inherited true wealth in this house. Peace of mind, ability to forgive myself for stuff that I may not have done, the entanglement of that confusion that I was telling you guys I was dealing with regarding my confidence and whether or not I'm a good man or good enough man or a leader or whatever different things that I was confused about because I was sitting in this space having made the decisions I made and having it playing out the way that I played. But now, no. I've yet again adjusted to what it is that was thrown at me. I've yet again accepted that I ain't a bad guy, so to speak. And I've once again accepted that my thesis, Roaring Kitty's thesis, the ape thesis, is correct. Whack-a-mole. Bank edition. BDF 44. I'll take you off watching.